Hi everyone, I apologize for the delay. As some of you know, this is my third try on this class tonight. I have given up on my stability ball, unfortunately. It needs a little bit of repair before I use it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use a foam roller. If you don't have one, any sort of piece of stability equipment would be fine, or you can just do it on the floor if you'd prefer. Okay, so we'll get started. So if you have a foam roller, you're actually going to lay on it. And if you have, so for most people, you're able to place your whole torso down on this stability ball. So from here, we're going to take the band over our chest. So our wrists are not directly over our shoulders. They are slightly lower, basically above that nipple line. Your feet and knees can be together. That would be the most challenging. Or you can bring them hip distance apart, or you can bring them wider if you want to make it easier. If you start to get unstable, please bring them wider. So taking those hands and just pulling apart on that band. So just pressing out and in. Now, even though your arms are moving, you want to try to keep the rest of your body still. So trying to engage those core muscles to prevent you from rocking on your roller. And last one, and then just take that band down to your hips and then reach it up by your ears. Keep those ribs neutral. Bring that band down by your hips and reach. Trying to keep some resistance on the band. It's not the biggest arm workout that you're ever going to have, but there should be a little work, and then there should also be work through those core muscles to help keep you still. Especially as those arms go back, chances are the rib cage is going to want to shift. You're trying to keep it still. And then holding that band over those hips, pulling out slightly on the band, abdominal crunches. Taking that band up, and now going from side to side. Coming down, and up, and down, and up. So a little bit of movement in that arm. Really trying to activate that waist. Last one. Hold those torso still. Now, if you feel a little wobbly, which may be the case if you are actually on a foam roller, you may want to take your feet a little wider. Or, if you want a challenge, you could bring your feet and knees closer together, alternating those legs up. So, you want to avoid doing what I just did and really letting that leg drop down to the floor. You want to let it float down to the floor. So really concentrating, and as you saw, sometimes even when you're really trying, it still happens. Bringing those hands back so that they are hovering over those hips. Come back to those abdominal crunches. And taking those arms up, now twisting. And last one. Now, placing that band over to the side for those weights, whatever you were using. Taking those arms down by your side, bringing those legs up. You want to try to get your knees directly over your hips. It's going to be tempting to bring your knees in toward your belly button. Try to avoid that. Try to get them directly over those hips. From here, alternate the leg drops. Try to be as still as possible on that roller. Last time on each side. And coming off that roller. And taking that roller under your hips. So right under that flat spot toward the upper portion of your hips. And then taking those legs vertical. Now, if you have tight hamstrings, this is going to be challenging for you. As far as your hands, it's a little more challenging not to hold on to the roller. You have to have more stability because obviously if you wiggle too much, you're going to wiggle right off the roller. Oftentimes people like to hold either the top or the sides of the roller, so either would be okay. From here, alternate those leg drops down. And again, focusing on as much length as you can through those legs. And focus on keeping everything except the legs as still as possible. One more on each side. Now this time, alternate the legs in toward you. So a different kind of movement. You're going to press forward. Try to keep stability through your torso. Try to keep the leg that is not moving toward the torso as still as possible. Hold it here. Now, take those legs into a scissor position for 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, switch. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8. Switch. 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 Hold it up. Again, getting those legs as long as possible. We're going to go into some leg drops. So, drop and lift. Now, you may drop your legs lower than I am. You may not drop your legs as low as I am. And either way is fine. It's about finding that place where you feel like you're getting a benefit. If you find that you're using momentum, you're probably going too far. Holding it here. Now with those legs, single, single, semicircle. Try to speed it up a little. Four more. And taking it down, moving the roller to your feet. placing those feet on the roller, making sure that your weight is in your upper back, not in the back of your neck right now. You want to make sure the back of your neck is lifted up off the floor. From here, coming into bridges. Last one. Now this time we're going to add on. We're going to come up, we're going to hold the up, we're going to bring those heels slightly in and out while we're up. So come up, in, out, drop down. Come up, in, out, drop down. Now, trying to come in for 3 counts this time. So just a little different, coming up, pull in 3, 2, 1, drop down. So those hamstrings should really be talking to you. Come up, 3, 2, 1, come down. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 4 more. And 1 more. And now, taking that roller back under the hips. So returning to this position that we were already in, but of course we'll do something a little different. So from here, extend one leg out, keep one leg bent. Now, you can drop it lower to make it a little harder. You can bring it higher to make it a little easier. Switch. Try to get full extension on the leg that's moving away from you. It's going to be very tempting to get it almost extended, but maybe not fully quite extended. But try your best to get it long. Try dropping it a little lower than it is to see if it makes it any more challenging. Now we'll speed up the tempo for a sec. 8, 7, 4. Hold it in. Now from here, changing that motion to a bicycle. So slow motion bicycle, you come up, down, and around. Up, down, and around. So right leg bike, left leg bike. And switch direction. Last one. Take both knees into your chest. Really hug those legs in. Now extend both legs. So double leg stretch legs. Drop them lower to make it more challenging. Last one. Dropping those legs down and taking that roller out. Lengthening those legs. Now, you can hold the roller somewhere not at the end, or as a challenge, you could try holding it at the end depending on how you're feeling tonight. And coming into the roll up. So inhale to prepare. And exhale, coming up and slowly rolling down. Of course, your feet are supposed to stay on the floor, but for some reason, the coming up, oops, and that's what happens if you don't hold on carefully. So tonight is really like, I'm going to call them Pilates bloopers. Between the snafu with the stability ball, if you were around for that, and the flying roller. And two more. Last one. And coming up and sitting up nice and tall. Taking those legs out and folding forward. So we went just over 20 minutes with the Pilates portion. So we'll do 10 or 15 minutes of some yoga stretches now. Coming up and tucking that right leg in. Sitting up nice and tall, you can always sit on a blanket or a pillow if you need to, and twist toward that long leg. Inhale up to center, exhale, twist toward that bent leg. Trying to really maintain length in that spine, even as you twist. Bringing it back to center, you may want to grab a strap. If you feel like a strap could be useful to you, you can place it around the ball of your foot. You want to square your shoulders towards your foot as much as possible. So there is a twist that comes in. Once you are here, folding forward, You can use that strap. You can grab that foot. You're doing the best you can to get your ribs and your shoulders as square to the floor as possible. From here, keeping your back hand in contact with your foot, you can modify by placing the hand on the floor instead, or you could grab hold of a block or rest your arm on your leg, coming over into a lateral stretch. So changing the orientation of that torso, those shoulders are no longer squared to the floor. Now you're trying to pretty much stack your rib cage and your shoulders. And then coming up and switching legs. So lengthening the bent leg and bending the lengthened leg. Again, locating those sitting bones, sitting up nice and tall, and twisting toward that long leg. Inhale those arms up to center and exhale toward that bent leg. Trying not to move off of that vertical axis, which is sometimes tempting. Sometimes people will start to do something like this. For our purposes today, sitting up nice and tall. And then twisting toward that long leg. And again, trying to square your shoulders toward that foot as much as possible. Place a strap around the ball of your foot if you find that one would be useful. Fold forward. Trying to find space in this fold as you're here. And now you can use a block. You can place the hand on the floor behind you, or you can keep grabbing hold of that foot, coming into a lateral stretch. You obviously do not have to grab your foot. If you do, you're still trying to keep your ribcage stacked. And slowly coming up. And now, bending your long leg, coming into butterfly. And folding forward. Coming up. And we tried this one last week, if you joined us. It's optional. So, index and middle finger, big toe clasp, and lengthening that leg, keeping that spine long while you're doing this, making sure you're not collapsing through your low back. So engage those abdominals that we were using during the Pilates portion. And then trying the other side when you're ready, index and middle finger. And dropping it down. You can do one side at a time again. You can try both sides. Index and middle finger. I'd suggest coming back, trying to find that balance. Oops, balance point. Sometimes it's elusive. Trying to lift your heart, lengthen your spine. Coming down. And coming into a supine position on that mat with a strap. Starting off with those feet flat to your mat. Take your right knee into your chest. Take that strap around the ball of your right foot. Lengthen that leg, and if you can, lengthen the other leg. So, for most people, your lower back should not be smushed against the floor. If it is smushed against the floor, you've probably gone into a pelvic tilt. Instead, you want to try to keep a neutral pelvis. And when you're in a neutral pelvis, you have a natural curvature at your lumbar spine. So that there should be just a little bit of space between your low back and the floor. It may not be, noticeably visible if someone were looking at you. Maybe you have a baggy shirt. But you should notice that there is actually a little bit of space between the low back and the floor. And then bending that leg, bending that leg. Opposite knee comes into the chest, bringing that belt around the bottom of the foot, lengthening the leg, and if you're able to, lengthening that other leg. As you think about finding an active stretch through the back of the lifted leg without shifting your pelvis, think about activating your lower leg if you can, and bringing your femur, that big thigh bone, toward the floor. And bending those legs. Taking that right leg, crossing it over your left. Externally rotating that leg. creating a figure 4 stretch. And then coming up, maybe you grab your hamstring, maybe use a belt if it's difficult to reach. Drop it down, switching sides. Same thing. Other leg comes up. Flex that inside foot. Externally rotate that leg. Coming up. Dropping it down. Bringing those feet out to the wide end, or the end of your mat, I guess. Be a better way of explaining it. And windshield wiper those legs. Holding it to the center, taking those feet in, lengthening those legs, lengthening those arms. Get yourself as long as possible. Take both feet and both hands to the right so that if someone were looking at you from the ceiling, you'd look like a crescent moon. And then over to the other side. Bringing it to the center and then coming into a position for final relaxation. Trying to relax completely. Let each and every exhale carry away any tension or tightness that you may be holding on to. And then wiggling your fingers, your toes. Eventually grounding your feet. Rolling to one side. Eventually coming up to a seated position. Coming into some seated cat and cows. And holding it up, sitting nice and tall. Bringing those hands to your heart center. The light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste. Thank you for your patience with the 2 non-starts of the Pilates bloopers tonight. You know, hopefully you enjoyed round 3 when we finally got here. I'm gonna say I should have known that it was gonna be one of those kind of days when I spent most of the day with my pants on inside out, yoga pants. We've probably all done it, yeah. And I had left the house that way too. But anyway, hope you all had a nice day. Take care and please like and share.